Stitchy friends. I'm back. My name is Christy. I'm the crosshatch quilter, and this is Gus. He's here to say hello to you guys again. He wanted to be a part of the video. I don't know if he likes being filmed or not. He likes to sit on my lap and look out the window. He's a big mama's boy. We hope that you're all doing well and staying inside and getting lots of stitching time. And we're sorry that we've been away for so long, but we're here to talk about our stitching today. Say hi. Say bye, everybody. My mom's going to set me down. Have a good weekend. Happy Easter. Today is Friday, April 10th of 2020. At this point, though, who's counting, right? What day of the week it is, what date it is. Is it March? Is it April? I'm Christy. I'm the crosshatch quilter, and I'm here today to talk to you about my stitching. I have some previous finishes to share, some new finishes, some whips, some starts, lots of starts, and some haul, and a couple quilts. Last time I did a giveaway for the Baby It's Cold Outside chart and matching bag, homemade project bag to go with it, and we picked a winner, and that is Veronica at Senorita Stitches. And I've already contacted her on Instagram and mailed off her bag and giveaway. Hopefully that gets to her real soon. Thank you again, everybody. It was so fun to watch or to hear where everyone is from and to hear all of your beautiful comments. This is such a great community, and I just really enjoy being a part of it, and I hope that wherever you're at, that this video finds you well and doing good and enjoying your extra stitching time. We haven't had a lot of extra stitching time around here. We're doing homeschool, and I've been busy making project bags. Thanks for to all of the wonderful people out there that have ordered one. I've just been trying to keep up and just be patient with me. I have been doing the best that I can. I have had a few questions from my last few couple videos, and I thought that I would answer them here because I get them often. This quilt rack behind me, I get asked a lot where I got it from, and it is called a compression quilt shelf, and I ordered it off of Etsy a couple years ago. I can't find the seller anymore, but I think if you Googled it or searched it on eBay or Etsy and you just use the name compression quilt shelf or even holder, it will bring up the options of the sellers that have them at this current time. I don't know if the guy that I bought from still sells them or not, because when I searched I couldn't find him specifically, but others did come up. And then the other question that I get a lot is about the log cabin quilt behind me. Log cabins, you can find a lot of free patterns for them online, and they're all the same idea. You start in the middle with a square, and then you go around and you make strips, and you just keep going around and around and around. This one uses 1.5 inch strips, and I've made another quilt with 2.5 inch strips, and I'll show you that here in a little bit. I made it for my daughter's bed. My other question was about project bags. I've had several people ask me if I have a pattern that I use. I don't have a pattern, unfortunately. I just make them up as I go, and I make them to sell, so I don't have a pattern, and I'm sorry about that. But if you do look up on YouTube project bag, there are tons of awesome project bag tutorials out there to show you how to make them, so I hope that helps. I wanted to show you some previous finishes of mine. This first one, I don't know the name of it. It's by Shepherd's Bush, and I've stitched, they're all seasons, so spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And I don't know the name of them. If you do know the name, if you could put it down in the description or the comments below, please. And then they had these frames that you could order to go with them. And I've stitched this about 20 years ago or more, so I apologize, but I just love this. I love switching these out for the seasons, and that is Spring by Shepherd's Bush, but I just don't know the name of the chart. I'm sure that they're still available. They are from Shepherd's Bush. And then this is April Wordplay. I stitched it on the 36 count Abecedarian, called for threads, and just finished it into a little pillow. I really enjoy that one. I want to finish all of them, but I haven't started anymore. This one is Springtime Social. This is probably my favorite Easter finish that I have. It's stitched on, I think, Wren, 36 count Wren, and I just love, I didn't say, it's Springtime Social by Brenda Gervais of With Thy Needle and Thread. I love her patterns because they're primitive looking and they don't use the typical Easter pastel colors. I just love this so much. And I just finished it on the back with some fig tree fabric and a little piece of wool and some decorative buttons. And then this last one is Easter Peep by, again, Brenda Gervais With Thy Needle and Thread. I really love her Easter patterns. I have quite a few more that I want to do. When I got done stitching this, we named him Carlos after the movie Hop, and I love how he's masquerading as a bunny rabbit. So cute. And then I have two new finishes. Well, I have three new finishes. One's a quilt top, but this is Queen of the Needle by Brenda Gervais of With Thy Needle and Thread. Just love that. I still need to put some thread in her needle right there, but I'll probably do that after I've finished it into a pillow. And I stitched this on 36 count, I believe platinum, but I'm not 100% sure, it wasn't marked. And this next one is Cherry Hollow Farm Sampler by Stacy Nash. And I had posted a picture of this on my Instagram saying that I didn't know for sure if I was going to just leave it with just the beige Weeks Dye Works linen plain or to antique it. I did get brave and I antiqued it, and I just really love how it turned out. What I did is I used this Instant Antique by Primitive Gatherings. I had seen Lisa the Kindred Stitcher show it on either a Flosstube or her Instagram possibly, and so I went and ordered some, and it didn't make any of the threads run. I think because it's such a fine mist and it dries very quickly that there wasn't a problem. And there is some water droplets when it first came out. If you do get some, I would test spray it first. I didn't do that, and I think that was the first spray, as it went right there. But it will be okay once I frame it. I'll frame it tight, and I think that it will be fine. But I really love how that turned out. And this is stitched on 36 count beige Weeks Dye Works with all the called for threads. And then my next finish is the quilt top that I showed you last time. It is Atelier by Frivels, and I made this in remembrance of Leanne, and I had a couple friends sewing along with me. Lisa Abby's Needleworks. It was her idea to sew a quilt top in remembrance of Leanne because she had so many amazing quilts, and so I wanted to join in. And then Becky with Socks for Mom, she made the Atelier as well, or she is making the Atelier. And then Olivia Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, I believe, is making one as well. And I love these fabrics. It's French General, and it's just like a little quilt top that you could put on it like a table topper or a small wall quilt. I'm now addicted to these. I want to make quite a few more, just small ones. Carol the Saltbox Stitcher, she rolls them up and like sticks them in like little containers, vintage, oh, I can't remember the name of them, but I'm going to probably copy because, I mean, we all want to be like her, right? So those are my finishes for this time. Now, I was stitching in a rotation, and when the world turned upside down, I just could not focus anymore on my stitching rotation, and so I just have been all over the place with my stitching. I started quite a few things. I've picked up several whips and worked on them for a little bit, and then I'll go on to the next. And so I have quite a bit to show you, but it's all squirrely, and it's not, I haven't stitched on any of my previous rotations except for one, and I will show you that. But this last time I forgot to show you this. This was one of my whips that, where's the cover page? I have been stitching with a dear friend. My friend Lori and I were stitching this together, and she completed hers. We were working on this last year together, and I, as you can see, have not completed mine, but it was so fun to stitch on this with her, and we would send each other progress pics every Sunday and see where we're at. Hers is beautiful. I've stitched this on 36 count sand by Picture This Plus, so I really need to get back to that. I really love this piece, and that is All Creatures Great and Small by Barbara Anna Designs. I've worked on this one a little bit. This is Heart in Hand by With a Needle and Thread. I love this piece, and I love the sentiment, especially for right now. It says, hands to work, heart to God. So I got a little bit more progress done on this. I think last time I didn't have the tree started, or this basket, or the house done, and I started on some words, and I think a little bit more of the floral border. I really want to get this one done. I just super love this piece. This was a stitch along that Tina with Emily Ann's Closet and her daughter Ashley started a couple years ago, and I'm the last person on the stitch along to not finish, I'm sure. I'm just going to chuck them on the floor. And then this is another stitch along with Tina. This is Heritage Sampler by Plum Street Samplers, and got a little bit more progress done on this. Tina has finished hers, and it is beautiful. I think since last time I showed it, I did more of the border over here and the pumpkin patch, and that pumpkin patch made me want to start all the fall things, but I haven't. And then I finished the house and started the lady and the flag. I really love this. This is on 36 count exemplar, vintage exemplar by Lakeside Linens. And then one stitching rotation that I did follow through with, I have still been working on it. This is my morning 30-minute stitch, and it is a stitch along with Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts and Deborah at Canopy Stitches on Instagram. The last time I showed it, I had just started this house. I've finished February. I haven't put my husband's name on it yet. His birthday is in February, and I still need to do the specialty stitches on the flowers. But then I finished the bonus block, and then I've started on marches. So I'm a little bit behind, but I really am enjoying this one. I'm usually not very good at stitch alongs, but I think that this one is just so special, and I'm excited to have it done at the end of the year. And it's so fun to stitch along with Olivia and Deborah and everyone else that's been doing this. I'm stitching mine on 36 count Old Town Blend by R&R Fabrics. So those are my whips that I worked on that I had already started. They were current whips. And then I just started a whole bunch of new things. Part of them are market purchases, and then the rest are just things that I had in my stash. And I'm just going to use the old adage. You've heard the saying, to plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow. Well, to start all the things is to believe in tomorrow. Carol, the Saltbox Stitcher, had started this, and I've had it in my stash for probably about a year. And then when I saw Nicole's Needleworks working on hers, I'm like, that's it. I can't handle it any longer. I have to start it. And so I did. This is Mary Bars by Stacy Nash, and I'm stitching it on the 36 count parchment. That's the new Zweigart base from Weeks Dye Works. And there's my start. This one is so fun because it just has all these little motifs, and it's really enjoyable to stitch on. I love the new Zweigart base. I love everything about this piece, just the colors. So that's one of my new starts. And then Michelle Farm Girl is doing a stitch along, and I wanted to join in, and that is Harriet Elizabeth Coe. Sorry. And this one is on 36 count Old Town Blend as well from R&R Fabrics. And I haven't gotten very far, but I did start it. And I love those eyelet stitches. I don't know what it is, but I love doing them. So I'm anxious to get back to this one. We just all need more time and more, we need octopus arms and hands, right? So that we can do all the things all at once. But I messaged Michelle and told her that nobody can stitch eyelets alone, so she had to have friends to do that. And then my next start is A Savior's Praise. I talked about this on my first video and told you that I wanted to start it, and I did. I haven't gotten very far. This is on 36 count Old Town Blend. I seem to really like that fabric, and just a little start. I changed this flower up here, was supposed to be like a crew, but I changed it to the red that is called for. I'm stitching it with all the DMCs. I don't know when I'm gonna, have time to finish all these because they're all huge projects, but I just wanted to start all the things. So I think it was just part of my way of not having to have any more anything else control my life for me. I don't know. But I started Stitch Over 2 by Hands On Design, and I've got both pieces started. This is the bottom part, so the bottom of the pillow right here. I almost got that done. I need to do like the little decorative stitches that go along the top here and a couple other things. And then I've started the tomatoes down here for the fob. And then the second part is this wonderful gingham linen. And I might have finished that. Let's see. Yeah, that part's finished and just is waiting for me to finish the rest so I can stitch it all together. So that should be completed into a pillow next time I'm on here. And then now I'm on to my market haul, but I also started things, so I'm just going to show you my starts of my market purchases, and then I'll show you the rest of my purchases after. But this is A Shepherd's Song by Plum Street Samplers. And I started it on the new 36 count Vellum by Picture This Plus. Sorry. I was trying to make sure I was still recording. So this is one of the new market fabrics that was released, and it is really pretty with this chart. I couldn't find any of the called for fabric that the chart calls for. It calls for 36 count Hog Bristle by Fox and Rabbit Designs. So I'm doing it on the Vellum by Picture This Plus instead. And I think that those colors just look really great. It's all the called for threads. And I don't know when I'll get back to that, but I wanted to get a good start on it. I was talking to my friend Celeste, and we both agreed that we like the crinkling noise on Flosstube videos, so. And then, my very last start, I started this with Celeste, my dear friend. We started it a week ago, this last Sunday, so a week and a half ago. And Consider the Lilies by Heartstring Samplery. Just love this piece. I started all the starts, and then I think that this is the one that I'm going to try and stick to and get a good chunk done. I've really enjoyed it. It's so fun to stitch on the motifs. So I've got the border all the way around, and it matched up. Yay! My main part that I've been stitching is over here on the bottom left. And I'm stitching this on 36 count Vintage Buttercream by Lakeside Linens. Oh, I just love this piece so much. And the sentiment is just perfect for what we're going through right now. In the front flap cover, Beth Twist talks about what her inspiration behind it was as a follow-up from His Eye is on the Sparrow. And she just talks about how, consider the birds of the air and the flowers of the field, how they are content and did not worry. I love that. So I'm really excited to continue to stitch on that piece. And then the rest of my market haul, of course you knew that I had to order this one. It is Sweet Tomato by the Scarlet House. I went stash diving and picked out some fabric that I think that the threads will look good on. This is Vintage Pear Linen by Lakeside Linens, and it just really accentuates the greens and the reds in that piece. So I'm excited to start that one. And then another one that I got is I Collect by Brenda Gervais. Love that. This next one wasn't a market release, but I needed to have it. And this is Prim Village by Lori Holt of Be in My Bonnet. And I haven't started it yet, but I'm anxious to. I need to get the threads for it. And I love how it comes with a little zipper pull. There's I think a quilt that might be coming out to match this, and of course I'm going to have to make that as well. So I love that. And then I showed this last time, but I kitted it all up, and it's one of my on my radar to start immediately. And this is G. Ledger 1898 by Reflets de Soie. And I kitted it up with some vellum and the over-dyed threads. And I've been trying to decide if I want to soak these in warm water like Country Sampler does and see if I can make them a little bit duller. And I thought that that linen looks really close to the picture of the original. And these colors are so soft that I might do that with these threads if I get adventurous, especially sorry, on the green and the orange and the darker colors. Hold please, I'm going to go and get a drink of water. Okay, I'm back. Springtime allergies give me coughing fits, and so now I have a cough drop in my mouth. I'm not sick. My last two purchases are, I got Tomato Harvest, and this isn't a market haul. I just downloaded the pattern from Not Forgotten Farms. No, Sub Rosa Designs. I'm sorry. There's a tomato pattern from Not Forgotten Farms that I'm going to get, that's on my radar. But this one is Tomato Harvest by Sub Rosa Designs, and you can purchase her patterns on her website in their PDF. And I have it in my cute bag from Shanda. It's Stitching in Idaho. And she is, if you haven't watched her Flosstube videos, you need to go and watch hers. She made me a project bag that has the tomatoes and the cute little pincushions, the hedgehog pincushions, and the little zipper pull that's a tomato. Thank you so much, Shanda. She has the most beautiful home. She sometimes films in her home, sometimes she films in her shop. She is a long arm quilter, and she has a wall behind her that is just covered in amazing quilts that are all primitive style, like reproduction fabrics, Civil War fabrics, and then she has like a pie safe, and I just love her style. If I could redecorate my house and all those things and buy fabrics, I would do it exactly like her. She has just beautiful style, and her Flosstube videos are wonderful, so go and check her out if you haven't already. And then my last market purchase, and this one is Berry Bowl Sampler. I talked about this on my last video, and I believe it was that same day that Adele from Smurfette Stitches, she contacted me and said, hey, let's stitch that together. And I just thought that was such an awesome idea, but I was so worried because when I stitch the opposite of most stitchers. I'm left-handed and I stitch with the sewing method, and so my top cross goes the opposite of, I'd say, the majority of people. And so I messaged her back and I said, oh, I would love to do that, but just so you know, my stitches are the opposite, and I just am worried that that would, you know, bother her. And she was so gracious and said, no, I think that would add to the fact that two friends stitched it, and it would just look different. You could tell that two different people stitched it, and I was so excited that she had no problems with that. Adele has a Flosstube video, or a Flosstube channel, Smurfette Stitches, and she is awesome. She has the most lovely UK accent, and she has an array of styles. She is into the big samplers and the primitive style that I'm into, and we always joke that, okay, if you're gonna buy something, then I need it too, because we just both have every time we buy something, we both want it. So we're going to stitch this and send half of the piece to the other, so we'll have a combined stitch as friends. I can't talk, I'm sorry. You get out of the habit of making these and you just become a blubbering mess. But I'm so excited to stitch this with Adele. and she has a French bulldog too, so we just have a lot in common. I'm stitching my piece that I'm keeping and the part that I'm sending to her on Ren, and then she is going to stitch hers on vellum, I believe. She's just waiting to get her supplies, and then we'll probably go ahead and get that started. That is all of my whips, haul, all the things. I'll be back on here in just a few minutes and show you a couple quilts. Okay, I have my lovely assistant Hayley here with me to help pick up this big quilt. This is my daughter Hayley. Say hi. And I made this quilt for her bed. I'm still attaching the binding on it. I sew it on the back and then I hand stitch it, or I stitch it to the, I sew it on the front and then I hand sew it, stitch it on the back. But this is another log cabin quilt. It is made out of all Lori Holt fabrics, Be in My Bonnet. And this is the same exact style quilt as this one behind us, but these are 2.5-inch strips. So you can see what a huge difference it makes. The exact same style, because this is 1.5 and this is 2.5. But this is made from jelly rolls and just extra stash that I had, and it's gonna go on her bed after. Here you go, my lovely assistant. Do you want to help me hold this one up too?
Yeah.
Okay, and then since it's Easter time, I thought I would show you this one. This is Tulip Pots.
That's easier.
By Lori Holt of Be in My Bonnet. This is a pattern that calls for a template, and she sells this pattern in her Etsy shop, I believe, still. But I just love this. It's so cheerful and springy. I still need to do the binding on it. I just got this back from the quilter, and she quilted little tulips on it. I don't know if you can see that. So that's Tulip Pots by Lori Holt of Be in My Bonnet. Do you want to show them your stitching?
Sure.
Okay, we'll be back. Hayley's been stitching since she's bored at home in jail, and we'll show you. Okay, Hayley and I are back, and part of our home economics from homeschooling is she has a finish. She's been working on Baby Chick. By who's that by?
Lori Holt, Be in My Bonnet.
Show them your finish. She didn't do the border because, tell them why, Hayley.
I want to make it into a key fob.
She wants me to turn it into a key fob for her. And that is one finish.
Mm-hmm.
And then she has a whip. Where's your chart?
Chart. Right here.
This is her dog got a hold of it. Gus. This is the Prairie Schooler Santa for 2018. And you want to show them? She's stitching this on, I believe, 14 count Ada, just the kind that you can buy like at Joann's. And I think she's doing a great job on that. And then because we're starting, did you hurt your elbow?
I'm okay.
Because we're starting all the things, right? I ordered her a new project off of Amazon, and it is called Pusheen. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, I think.
And it's this cute little, the charts are very small, but there's, I believe, 4 of them in there. It came with the Ada for it and a little tiny hoop, and she just has a teeny tiny start. Those will be fun. So we've just been busy crafting and having fun together and trying to make the most of being stuck indoors all the time. She has been doing a sewing project. Do you want to just hold those?
Yes.
And just kind of flip through them. So this is, they're strips, they're jelly roll strips, they're 2.5 inches. And I just bought her a couple jelly rolls. And then they have these papers at Missouri Star Quilt Company. They're, I believe, 10 inches square, but they are solid. They're not flexible like batting would be. So she just you start from one corner to the next and put your first jelly roll down, and then you just sew on the rest of them. And then when you're ready to be done, you use it as a template to cut it. Hold one up next to me so you can. This quilt's going to have so much movement, but Hayley's been doing this all by herself without any help from me, and she has even been doing the rotary cutter by herself, which makes me a little bit nervous, but she's been doing a great job. And we've just been trying to make the most of everything, and Hayley has a saying on her dance wall. You want to tell them what it is?
Don't wait for the storm to pass, just go dance in the rain.
Happy stitching, everyone.